So we really love helping our friends and family decorate and renovate their houses because we grew up with a jack of all trades dad who had us doing work around the house all the time.
This is a no blobbing household here.
Oh my God.
What? Jesus Christ.
We've learned the hard way that when you're painting, it's really easy to mess up and end up with paint on the ceiling and on the floors. And that's gonna cost you hundreds of dollars to clean and fix. So we're gonna show you today how to do it properly and save you lots of money. When you get to the hardware or home improvement store, you'll have some choices for different kinds of indoor paints. Make sure you research what kind of paint best fits the need of your project. We purchased a semi-gloss paint and primer in one. Once you get all of your paint, you'll need a few more supplies to go with it. This includes painter's tape, paint rollers, paint pails, sandpaper, paint roller frames, paint roller trays, a spackling kit and scraper, paint brushes, and some plastic drop cloths. Next, you'll have to prep your room so you don't get paint all over the place. In our case, we don't want to paint the ceiling. So we're going to take the painter's tape and cover up the part of the ceiling where it meets the walls. Then, since we're going to repaint the moldings later, we're only going to cover up the part of them where they meet the wall instead of covering it completely. With outlet covers, you can take them off so that you don't paint over them. For the floors, take your plastic drop cloths, line them up to the walls, and then tape them down. If you need to layer them on top of each other, make sure to tape them together too. Make sure to examine your walls. If you have holes in them from frames or nails, you will need to fill them in before painting. Take your putty knife and put some spackle over it, filling it completely. Make sure to put a thin layer so that it doesn't take forever to dry. We use color-changing spackle that let us know exactly when it was dry. Lastly, take your sandpaper and rub it until it's smooth and level with the wall. The last part of prepping is cleaning the walls for dust and dirt. You can simply take a wet paper towel and dust off your walls. But keep in mind that it's important to clean them meticulously or else the dust will be painted onto your walls too. With all the prep work out of the way, it's time to paint. Take a flathead screwdriver and lift up the paint can's lid. With a wooden stirring stick that's usually provided, stir the paint thoroughly. They forgot to give us some, so we used a flathead screwdriver instead. Pour some paint into the paint roller trays, containers, or paint pails. The key to painting is thin, even layers. So when you take your paintbrush or roller, you'll be going over the same spot quite often to spread out the paint evenly. As for some tips, it's better to use a paint roller on walls rather than a paintbrush. It can cover quite the area with just one dip of the paint and spreads it out more evenly.
You gotta spread it out. See the way I still am on my first roll.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do not try to roll fast if your roller is soaked in paint. This will just cause the paint to splash everywhere. Instead, take your time on the first few rolls, or make sure you're not soaking the roller completely. The paintbrush is mostly used for touch-ups and small areas like corners and areas close to the painter's tape for the ceiling and moldings. If there are any paint drips, make sure to go over it and spread it out right away. The last thing you want is a permanently dried up drip on your wall. Once you've covered the room with your paint, let it dry. This could take up to an hour or two, depending on the temperature and humidity in your room and the type of paint you use. For us, it was about 60 to 65 degrees outside, and there was a breeze, so we opened up the windows and let a fan run to circulate the air. For another paint job, we had the air conditioner on. Once it's dry, apply a second coat of paint to your walls and let it fully dry again. Again, depending on your paint project and the specific paint you're using, you might not need a second coat, or maybe you'll even need a third one. If you're repainting your moldings like us, put painter's tape on your walls where they meet the molding. Double up on it and make them extend higher so that you don't get the molding paint color on your newly painted walls accidentally. Use a paintbrush to paint the moldings. Once they're all fully dry, you can carefully and slowly rip off the painter's tape. Then roll up the plastic dry cloth, making sure that you don't get any wet paint from it onto the floor. Replace the outlet covers, and you're done.
So now you've seen us paint one room. We know this could be a really intimidating process, but be confident because it's so rewarding and it's a lot of fun to do with friends. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please give us a like and check out some of our other videos on our how-to hub if you want to learn new things. And hey, check out this video right here. Now I'm gonna get back to finishing up, closing up these paint cans because we have more rooms to go.